Hello again. In this clip then, we'll show you how easy it is to keep a track of each child's balance within the system. First of all, look, top right, you'll see the balance that each child owes to the end of the current month. So as you flick through the children one at a time, you'll see the balances in that top right hand box. That is always the live balance that the child will owe you to the end of the current month. So here we are again looking at James Abinger, and you can quite clearly see that the balance here, look, is £1,160. Okay, if we add an extra, you'll see this extra has been added here, and that extra will be added to the balance for us. Okay, add another extra. And that extra has been added to James's balance. As we put payments into the system, you can see we already have 2 payments here. The payments entered here, and it's come off of James's balance. Now then, should James's parents ever query that balance, it's just a matter at any time, look, you can click on a statement to date. This will bring a statement to date up in front of you, which will clearly show, look, August, September and October. It is only interested in fees to the end of the current month, even though you may have months showing on the main screen right up until January 2010. The system is only interested in fees outstanding to the end of the current month. So here we can see that August, September and October, £2,040. Any extras that were made, less any early years funding, minus any payments, minus any vouchers, and here is the balance outstanding. You can either print that as a PDF file and email it to James's parents, or if you want to click on this button here, you can email the statement directly. If you want to print, click print. If you don't, just click exit. Should the parent ever query the payments made, simply a matter of going to the top menu here, view the payments to this child, and there will be a recorded list of payments made by James's parents. Once again, you could save that as a PDF and email it if need be. As you can see here, look, we've got all the months showing right up until February 2010. But the system is only interested in the fees to the end of the current month. However, if that parent did want to see a statement right up until February 2010, you could simply do this by going here and clicking on Statement Show All, and that would show you a statement right up until the end of the period that you have showing on the main screen. So here we are in October 2009, and you would have sent your October invoices out sometime in September. But any time now we could send our November invoices out. So let's have a look at James's invoice, shall we? You can see he still owes £480.67. And here's James's invoice for November 2009. It's also, look, picked up any extras that James booked in the previous month, quite clearly showing here. It's also showing, look, owed before November, £426.67. They were fees unpaid at the end of October. Now we have just been looking at the balances for each child one at a time. As we flick through them on the main screen here, you will see each child's balance. But if you want to see the balances for all children in the nursery, simply click here on the credit control button. And in this window, you'll see a list of all the children and their balances to the end of the current month. Now then, the main screen is always up to date with payments, etc., but this window is not until you click on this button here, update the balances this month. We'll say yes to that, update complete, and now you'll see a list of all the balances completely up to date, the same as the main screen. And you can see here, look, the James Abbinger's balance is £426.67. So just to repeat, you can simply go into the credit control window anytime. You'll see a list of all the children's balances here. You can click on this button here. You've got the choice of a single list or grouped by room. We'll say a single list. And here is a list of all the children and their balances to the end of the current month that you could print off and have on your desk on a Monday morning. Then, as the payments come in, you can record those payments on this sheet here, so that you would have a paper record of any payments coming into the nursery. So all it needs then is a responsible person to pick up that list of payments received, click on the Payments All Children button here, and you'll see a list of all the children in exactly the same order as your sheet of paper. So all you would have to do is double click on the child, next child, you can, if you want to, put a receipt number there if you want to, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. And you can also, if you want to, against that payment, make a note against that payment. So you can see a 5-minute job once a week. Then when you come back to the main screen, if you click on the Payments tab here, as you flick through the children one at a time, you'll see those payments have been recorded. And of course, their balances have been adjusted. At any time, if you want to see a list of those payments received, simply go into the Payments window, view existing payments, this week, last week, choose a week or calendar month. You'll see a list of all the payments that you received during the period that you've chosen, and you can print those lists off if need be. Let's just have another look in the credit control window. In this window, look, once again, you'll see each child's balance. Now, in the ideal world, you would come into this window during the last week of each month, and each of these balances would be 0. If not, you can send reminders. So for example, I could focus on this child here. I could send her either a first reminder, a second reminder, or a third reminder. There's a first. So we've done all the work for you. It's picked up the child's name, it's picked up the parent's salutation, and it's also picked up the balance that was outstanding for that child. But here in this area is the text that you would type in yourself. So for example, if I want to customize my first reminder, that could be mild, the second could be strong, the third could be really strong. You can edit the text in those reminders yourself simply by typing into those boxes there. So before we finish this credit control clip, let's just find a child here, Stephen Andrews. Stephen owes £303.25. But let's just enter a payment in there now. Let's add a payment. We'll say it was 400, and we'll say that was a check. And we could put a note against that. There's the £400 showing, and you can see now, look, that Stephen is £96.75 in credit. So all you have to do is enter the payments into the system, and each child's balance will be kept completely up to date for you. If we now look at the statement to date for Stephen, you'll see quite clearly there's the fees due, there's the payments made, and Stephen is £96.75 in credit. So you can see the system can quite easily handle overpayments. The next time you go into credit control to see a list of all the outstanding fees, you'll see here, look, that Stephen Andrews is £96.75 in credit. If we try to send a reminder to Stephen there, it won't let us. It'll warn us that this child does not owe any fees. So you can't upset parents by sending a reminder if the child doesn't owe the actual fees. Before we leave this clip, let's just go back here, look at the payments all children's window. And for example, if you were checking your bank statement now and looking for all those children that pay by standing order or direct debit, you simply click on the filter button here, look. That would focus us now purely on the children that pay by standing order. And it's just a matter then of simply clicking on that child, entering the payment, choosing the payment method, if your nursery does allow deductions for, say, holidays or anything like that, for example, I could focus on January 2010 here, I could go into the part month here, and I could make a reduction there, so it could be minus £50, one-week holiday. And can you see here, look, that the fees have been adjusted for us, and when we come to do that invoice, that will quite clearly show on the invoice here, look. So this will turn green, and this will alert you to the fact that you have manipulated that monthly fee and you've either added an amount to it or deducted an amount from it. You can always see that amount simply by clicking on this button here. Another feature of the Instant Nursery Manager is, let's focus here on February 2010, for example. If I put a fixed monthly fee in there, look, £500, the system now will automatically pick up this £500, and that £500 will override all the calculations for that child. And as we add further months, it will assume that that child's doing the same until you tell it differently, simply by modifying sessions and putting a 0. So you can see the fees are being calculated again now as normal. So hopefully you can see how flexible the Instant Nursery Manager is to keep track of each child's balances and for you to manipulate the fees for each child if need be. Another feature of the Instant Nursery Manager too, let's just add April 2010 here. For example, if I modify those sessions here, a fixed voucher amount to show on invoices, if any. If you would like it to show here, for example, if I put £250 there, it does mean that when we come to do the invoices, it will show that as a deduction for the pay. You can see here, look, less the workplace vouchers minus £250. You don't have to use that feature because it won't take that amount off the child's balance. You still have to enter it as a payment when it comes in, but it does mean you are showing that as a deduction on the invoice if your nursery prefers to do it that way. So thank you for watching this video clip.